Podcast starts now. Welcome to the episode. This is StraightioLab, by the way. And we couldn't be better.
I'm feeling amazing.
George, I have to be completely honest. I need to ask you this, and part of it, this actually is sort of an amazing collab with our guest, but I do need to say, are you mad at me?
Oh, wow.
I'm feeling intenseness.
Sam, you keep putting me on the spot today.
Why are you guys fighting?
It's crazy.
No, are you mad though?
No, I'm not mad.
What happened in the last episode?
No, it was just like...
Keep this in.
Well,
me talking to the producers.
It's so funny that this is how we're starting. Because
this is perfect.
What happened with the last episode is we were like, all right, spoiler alert for everyone. This is still the Friday after the election, okay? And for the last episode, I sort of came in and I was like, I'm not ready to talk. I would like to at some point form my thoughts and say something thoughtful and inspiring, but I don't have it in me right now. Like I just, I'm not there yet. I feel like I have not processed it, not to be, a cuck lib, but I have not. I don't feel ready yet. And then, and Sam was like, "No, we should address it." And I was like, "Okay, great." And then that's how we started the episode.
Got you.
By sort of like discussing almost on a meta level the ethics of addressing or not addressing the election on our
what I call breaking the seal.
Yes, which is on our gay comedy podcast.
Yeah.
Breaking the seal is when you're recording your comedy podcast after a devastating global tragedy.
And I do want to say, Catherine, that I was thinking about this. You were the first remote record we ever did.
If you think I don't remember,
God.
I remember so vivid.
When lockdown started, our first, I
shouldn't come on the pod.
You're scaring me.
It's
Catherine,
crazy.
You are scaring me.
Our first like 4 or 6 episodes were recorded. We recorded them pre-lockdown, and so they were recorded in person in a studio. Then lockdown started, and we were like, "Who should our first lockdown guest be?" And I was like, "I know just the gal. I know just the cabaret icon."
I remember exactly. I remember where I was sitting, what it looked like.
Yeah.
I remember being like, well, this will be perfect because you guys had already been recording on Zoom, so it was like almost she'll be able to teach us how to do it.
That's so psycho.
And I also remember I felt very honored because you had just booked me on your first ever Instagram live show.
Oh my God.
You
where
guys.
my bit that I did. So I kept thinking that the way to do Instagram live / Zoom comedy was that, obviously I'm not going to do like my material. So I was like, all right, what bit can I do? And so for years, my bit was that I was like wearing a face mask and like a towel or something.
Yeah,
and
you looked good.
It was like, oh God, like I didn't know you would call. And then for Mary Beth's, my bit was that I was like in the tub, but I didn't know when I was going to be on the lineup. So I ended up having to be in the tub, like wrinkly for like an hour and a half.
Anything for the bit.
Waiting for the bit.
I do think, those became so tiresome and painful, but people still come up to me and are like, thank you for doing that during lockdown. Like it was, and not to be so like, and of course I am amazing, but not to be that way. But these people, I'm like, oh, people actually like care. You forget people care.
No, people care.
No, people do care.
They were desperate for something.
And people love your pod and want to laugh. And so that's why even in the face of disaster, you crack it open and you say,
we're breaking the seal.
You say, what can we do but move forward, I guess.
And maybe the first sign that something was not going to go right was, so we had you booked on a different date and for various reasons
I think it was my fault.
I don't think it was anyone's fault.
I'm glad you think that.
Don't take blame.
Don't take blame.
Rule of power number 4. Don't take blame.
If there's one thing we can all do in the new Trump era is like, at the very least, take that lesson. Be like, if they're not taking blame, I'm not taking blame.
Oh my God.
I'm not taking any blame.
It's not my fucking fault.
It's not my fault. Actually, if the Democratic Party is listening, my message for you, don't take blame.
Oh my God.
My message to the Democratic Party is don't listen to the haters, y'all. You did everything right.
No.
George,
and you just have to keep doing the same thing.
The issue is that's already what they're doing. That's literally the takeaway. They're like, well, the campaign was perfect. It's just people who are weird.
People are so weird in this country. And by weird, I mean racist, misogynistic, xenophobic, transphobic. Shout out. Shout out
to all of those qualities that one can have.
It's amazing that one can have all of the qualities at once.
Yeah, well, they lead to one another.
Feeling all the feels.
Oh, God.
No, I know.
But then let me say this. On top of that, it's amazing that if you're in the DNC, you can also have such qualities as being stupid, being out of touch, not understanding how to look at how to look at data,
being condescending,
if you will.
saying the completely wrong thing at every time, having a very easy assignment and not understanding
feeling entitled.
Feeling entitled.
The assignment was so easy.
No, it was
That's really
literally
well
like
said.
so easy, and it's always been easy.
Should have been a slam dunk.
This shit
Slam
pisses me
dunko.
off.
And instead, and here's a sports metaphor on StraightioLab, instead they fumbled it.
They fumbled the bag.
Yeah.
Bro, they fumbled hard.
I know. No, it is an interesting balance. Like we want to be playful and yet these are real things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
it's
it's true.
complicated.
But just tell me, it's so weird that you're not in this room because it does feel like you are.
No, it's working. We're
Technology
really,
I'm glad. Because sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes we'll do these
we're living in the
recordings
future.
where
It feels like you're here.
This is really good. This is like fully a movie where like this. I'm so brain dead. This is a movie where it's like you're here. This is like how I'm in a movie where you're here.
totally.
Oh my
No, that's
God.
I was
true,
going to
that's
say
true.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
It
You
doesn't
look like
feel
a
right,
professor. Your background is
Catherine-
professor.
Well, I mean, it's because I.
It's on purpose. It's not a
on purpose.
mistake.
It's not a mistake.
Well, it feels like that because that's what I'm going for.
And actually, I just, for anyone not, well, I haven't decided if I'm ready to release this episode video option. But for anyone not watching, I do have all these books behind me. But then I also, at some point, I was in the middle of moving stuff, and so there's just like piles of stuff everywhere. And this was truly like 2 months ago. And for the first couple of times, I would apologize for it, and now I've actually started owning it as like, oh, I'm a crazy intellectual.
No,
and
yeah,
there's
you're
just
like, your
always
notes are
piles
stacked
of
up.
things.
It's
Yeah,
way
it's
more
just like,
You were on
professorial that way.
sabbatical and you
That's a play I gave
accumulated-
up on. Yeah,
You're writing a
that's
book
play
right
I gave
now,
up
and you
on.
have to keep
This
it's
is my
organized
book.
chaos. Yeah,
Can I say something?
please.
Catherine's leaving.
Yeah.
I'm back. I'm grabbing my now. Is it Pellegrino? I couldn't remember if it was Perrier or Pellegrino.
I hate when that happens.
Is the DNC out of touch? Grab your Pellegrino and let's find out.
God, I always forget. Is it Perrier or Pellegrino?
It's
Fuck.
so fucking stressful right now.
I'm obsessed with. Okay, I have two things to say that are
Beautiful.
both kind of related to the Pellegrino class. Okay, coining that, by the way.
No, genius. That's a book. That's
the
a book.
Pellegrino class. One is have you guys heard when people talk about I'm working on a book project rather than saying
Yes.
I'm working on a book?
Wait,
Yes.
no. Who said that to you?
People.
Okay, so
Who's
people
saying
say
that?
that.
It's out there.
It's out there. And I first heard it in like academia because it would be like an
Book
academic
project.
To me, it implies like nonfiction. Like they're like working on more of
so
a
it's
research.
like the book
thing.
project is about like, oh, it's on, the evolution
nauseous.
of.
I feel sick.
But I hate it so much. I'm like, just say you're working on a book.
Well,
It's
they're
a
like,
book.
but it's not a book. It's a book project.
Are people avoiding saying they're working on a book because it seems?
Well, it
what?
makes it sound more intellectual. It makes it sound like you're doing research and you're like in the stacks.
Working on a book is like you're typing.
right.
And book project is like it implies papers on the wall. It implies like multimedia as you're like processing your feelings.
Or also, book project implies like I have this material, and should the form, perhaps it will emerge as a book, but it could become something else because it's the theme and the story.
Yeah,
that
it
I'm
could be an
worried about.
8-episode podcast.
Yeah, limited.
right.
Is this
Yeah.
a limited series? Let's release this in like 3 10-minute chunks. And it'll be a
Let's
limited
release
series.
this in 15 quibbies.
You know, I actually think that would be a fun direction for our podcast to take, where it's like, for the next month, we're with Catherine Cohen.
Oh, that's fun! Every
my God, I would
day, like
love
the
that.
daily.
Yeah, we are diving into something very specific every day.
That's
And we're
actually a
back with
cool idea
Catherine
for a
Cohen.
It's
pod.
kind of fun.
That's a
Can
cool
I say
idea.
something, Catherine?
Yeah.
So I've always. Okay, wait. My second point about the Pellegrino class, and this is not a point, but it's more something I need help with. I've decided I would like to be one of those men that basically owns a women's leather purse.
I'm so sorry. One more time.
You want to be one of those men that owns a women's leather purse.
I want my daily
Non-binary
bag.
legend.
Oh wait, I think you should. Did you? Were you just admiring my bag?
Yeah, that's why I was.
Thank you so much.
I was like, I want like a Loewe. Like, I don't want it to be super non-binary. I want it to be gesturing at masculinity. Like, this is. I'm not making a statement about gender. I'm making a statement about
leather.
About leather.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say bags that are gendered male are lost. When we look at these bags, I'm like, disgusting. I don't want that.
Yeah, we should reinvent the briefcase.
There's no sense of play. It's so self-serious. It's just yeah.
I want a bag that apologies for using an outdated slur, lipstick lesbian would wear. I want a bag that is masculine for a woman.
Yes.
But,
no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
I think the bag I have would suit you well. It's sort of...
I agree. That's why I brought it up.
Well, thank you for bringing it up, because actually yesterday I walked into my podcast recording, the one where I broke the seal, and I said, no one's talking about my bag. Because it was a gift from my mother for my birthday. And by a gift, I sent her a link and I said, this is what I would like for my birthday, because that's how we rock in my family.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to feel that big, to borrow a term from that hit TV show, capacious, supple leather feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too bad Trump won and then we couldn't spend enough time on your bag.
I live in hell. I live in hell.
Oh my God.
Wait, I do think you need a non-gendered leather bag.
I need a non-gender. Here's what I need. Okay. And I've like planned this out and I wonder how the Trump era is going to play into it. We're talking big brand change for me. Daily uniform, raw denim, blazer, leather bag.
That's so hot. You kind of want to dress like Jenna Lyons.
Exactly.
That's really smart.
You'd look good in that.
That's really smart.
And I think the shirt can change, and I think I can play around with it. By the way, one of the best things you could do, pants, blazer, denim shirt.
No,
Awesome.
I think that's chic. But George, you're kind of scaring me. Like,
why?
It's just so serious, and you're going to do it all the time, but you're doing it right now.
George saw that I have a blazer and a leather bag, and he said, I want what Miss Pellegrino has. I crave her je ne sais quoi.
Her... casual, perfect style.
You know what, Sam? I have to bring this up. This shirt reminds me of our date.
Did I wear this on our date?
No, but it just reminds me that we went on it. George,
wait, when was your date?
Did we talk on this last time?
This date was before anything was wrong in the world, actually.
Yeah, it was pre-2016 Trump. It was pre-everything. It was neither of us had podcasts yet. And we were like, let's get a drink.
That's when things started going south, by the way.
Oh.
By the way.
I cannot believe I still have a podcast.
The rise, I'm like basically being completely earnest here.
Yeah.
The rise of podcasting was the harbinger of doom. I mean, if you think about Joe Rogan, if you think about like just everything, the media should never have been democratized.
But anyway, yeah, we went on a date to...
We just like went like bar hopping, but all of a sudden we were like, why does this feel like a date?
It was so flirty, and it was like we should have like made out a little at the end.
I wish, because you know you're my type. I've always thought he was
I recently had that.
Really?
I recently had that with Amy Zimmer.
Oh,
that is beautiful.
Fun.
Because we are sort of starting, I think this is our third one, basically a yearly tradition of having like steaks and martinis and like really like going out.
Nice.
That's really fun.
George, I feel like you and I have a yearly drink as well. That needs to change.
Catherine, the way that I know you're so hard to reach, and so I was literally
Do you think that? Because
Catherine, you're hard to reach.
You are.
Do you really think that?
100%.
Not hard to reach.
I'm actually shattered.
Hard to find in person.
I'm actually shattered because you know that my whole thing is that I have no friends.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Here's what happens.
You are so hard to reach.
No, it's whenever you're in town, my heart rate goes up because I'm like, okay, like this is your one shot. If you don't do it now, then it's Q4. Like,
do you know all it is? It's only because I was milking. I had one show I wrote, and I was like, I'm going to tour this into the ground, and so I've been gone on and off for like 2 years, but I'm done.
But even before that, you were like shooting another show.
Oh well, you know, I shot I haven't really spoken about this, but you know, I shot an amazing television show that has yet to air.
Oh, that's never come out.
It's actually yet to air, and I worked on it for 2 years. And I went to Latvia, I went to Iceland, I went to Argentina. I've been all over the world. But
for a show that hasn't aired.
It has yet to air. We don't know where it's airing or when, but we celebrate that.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
God, I love our media landscape.
But I'm shattered that you think I'm hard to reach because I'm actually famously really good at texting back.
Really?
So if
You are good at texting back.
it's okay.
We're
Say
fact
it.
checking. We're fact checking.
Say it. Say it.
Okay, you have a tell. Can I say what it is?
What?
Ooh.
I think that when you are not quite available to like have an in-depth conversation, you text ha ha ha, but starting with A. So you go A-H-A-H-A-H. Would you say that's accurate?
I text that a lot. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
For me, that means like that's even funnier than I would have thought. For me, ah ha 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 is funnier than ha ha ha.
So ahaha is coming from a sincere place.
It's very sincere. Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting. No, it's good to learn how you are seen in the world. But yeah,
But it's not a bad thing. I think most of the people that we, could get drinks with in 2015 are now quite hard to reach.
I do feel like so many of our friends cannot respond to one of my texts to save their life. So at least I feel like you both respond, I respond.
No, I think, and we know
who I'm talking about. We can make a list.
Jokey, I'm being jokey, but of course you respond, and you are actually.
And of course,
it's not that you're hard to reach.
Mr. Jokey Jokey.
Mr. Jokey.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, but I do think time also flies. Like, I remember our last date that we had at this point was probably over a year ago. Even though I don't think of it as over. Like,
I know, but
when we
that's
went to that hotel bar.
This isn't about shaming. I think we've all been quite busy. You got married. You moved to LA.
You work
nonstop.
That's true.
I was kind of interested when we were talking about pre-pod, which is, do you want to discuss that on pod, or are you not talking about that?
The show? Or my lack of sense of self?
The amazing mashup that's resulted. Because I think we all feel this way. It's like you crave a steady job, then you get one, then you're like, is this what I wanted? Like, how are you feeling?
It's complicated. I've been working this job it's coming up on a year. We're like
that's crazy.
A month away from it being a year. And it's like a full-time job.
It's also like, it's really like, we're doing it live. Like
we're doing it live. The show's coming out no matter what. It's like very fun. I really like the room, but I am starting to be like, wait, who am I? Like,
you must get home and just pass the fuck out.
I'm so tired.
Yeah.
And I literally have to get up at like 6:15 if I want to go to the gym.
Well, sorry. Okay. Caveat on the Lower East Side.
It really is. Your self-discipline on that front is really impressive to me, because I can't get into it, but I've had a job for the past few months for which I have to, by the way, commute to Penn Station.
I'm so sorry that you're going through that. I don't want to hold space for that.
That's really tough.
First, we're living in Trump's America, now that.
But I will say, it's, the start time is on the later side. It's like I can get there by 10:30, and it's fine. So I could go to the gym if I wanted to, but there is no part of me that's going to wake up any earlier than I absolutely need to.
No, I've just been like, what? I feel like I wake up stressed out anyway.
Oh,
and so I'm like, let's just run with it and just get up and go.
Do you feel this way too, George? I feel like I wake up and immediately I'm filled with so much dread, so much fear. Is that?
I think so. Here's what I'll say. Yeah. There was I would say 5, 6, 7, 8 year period where I was like constantly putting off developing a either morning or nighttime routine. And I was constantly being like, okay, like I'm less screen time. Okay, meditation, no screens before bed. And I would go through these like 2-week-long cycles of like boom and bust, boom and bust. I would say approximately 1 year ago, I gave up completely. Mm-hmm. Like I am no longer making effort. The one thing I'm doing is exercising, which is helping a little bit, but otherwise making zero efforts to improve my lifestyle choices.
That's good.
And there's something that's like, I need to get back on the horse.
When do you work out?
Great question.
Like in the very short time between work and dinner, basically.
Work and play.
Oh, that can be nice.
And then in an ideal world, it would be like work, gym, dinner, show,
tan, laundry.
Gym, tan, laundry. Yeah.
Show. I mean, I haven't done a show in a long time.
Well, and I got to be honest, the shows in LA are not as fun.
I bet.
They are more
so are you missing
infrequent.
Us?
I am.
But do you feel in touch with the live comedy scene in New York, George?
Okay.
I feel like an elder. I feel like an elder.
I definitely feel like an elder. However, there are enough people. I was at Max's apartment last night, and he just like had a few people over, and I was looking around, and I was like, there are actually enough people here that have been here from the start, and I feel I am in community with, and so I don't feel as alienated as I have felt at times in the past.
Totally.
I was touring over the summer, and I really felt like I was soaring because I was like I had never toured by myself before, and I felt like I was like really evolving and doing something. And then as soon as I came back to New York, it was just like cut. Like I didn't make an effort to be booked on stuff here, so I just like came back and stopped performing basically for like 2 months.
Yeah. And
I think the whiplash of that is getting to me a little bit.
I feel that so much. I feel the same thing.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll talk to a younger person, and the things that they say about like what the comedy lifestyle is like now are just so unrelatable and so completely
like what?
Different. Just like, I mean, it sounds so cliche, but just like literally people being like, okay, so what you have to do is just like, no matter whether anything is funny or good or not, just like post twice a day, and you have to post like once at 9 a.m., once at 1 p.m. And then if you do it enough, you will, like, just the way it works is that you will go viral, even if like it's just a matter of like quantity. It's just like if you flood the algorithm, you will at some point go viral. And then when you do go viral, then if you do that approximately like once every 4 months, then within 2 years, you can get this number of followers. And then you can start making so much money through brand deals. And literally last night, I was talking to someone, and she was like, yeah, and then this person I know got a coach deal, and so then you just post that, and then that's how you make your money, and then you're able to like fund your stand-up career through that. And I was just like,
oh my god,
it's just like when I think about what we were talking about, which was like which open mics to go to, and
it was so pure. So pure. But wait, I have a question, because I feel like, so I think about this all the time too, but it's like, now we live in a world where, first of all, there's too many famous people. Everyone's famous.
Yes. And also no one's famous.
For somehow not us.
First of all, we're the most famous people in the world. And let me tell you this. I feel like having a lot of followers doesn't mean anything anymore. Do you think it does?
We've talked about this. It doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything.
Right?
It's like sometimes even it means the opposite.
Yeah, because auteurs are coming at you with 3,000-4,000 followers because they're auteurs.
Because they care about the art.
Because they're doing the craft. They're not doing the 9 a.m.s. But I try and do a little both.
Honey, I'm on my feet in both.
I'm trying to play the game, but still make something that I care about, which it's not easy.
It's not easy.
I actually think you are one of the few people that has.
You're doing both.
That is so.
Figured it out.
You're crushing doing both.
But you know what I've noticed, is people, so like you have to build these crowd work moments into your shows, which feels totally unnatural and weird. So you have, because I'm like, oh yeah, I'll post all my jokes, but then I only have that many because then I have an hour, and then it's
no, that is what people are doing. It seems so obvious in retrospect, and yet I just can't. It seems so unnatural to me. Like I don't know.
I was fed a crowd work clip recently that was edited.
Fed is so. I mean, it's so true, and that's what you would say. But I do
was force fed. I was
being
force fed.
Baby birded.
Yeah. This clip of this stand-up doing crowd work that was edited so intensely. Every single word had like a graphic caption on it, and like the zoom-ins were so constant. And it was as if it was the most exciting thing that had ever happened. And I was like, this is so boring. And also the riffs were so mediocre.
Oh my God.
And just like really reaching, like, oh, I bet that's like driving down the highway with a raccoon on your head. And
my God.
But like zoom in, crash, and like it made it seem like it was like the most amazing time. And I was like, this hurts to watch.
Yeah,
here's a
yellow
question.
font like bouncing.
Are we in a uniquely aesthetically depraved era?
100%.
Like, because I think this is actually, like, I honestly think my reaction to a lot of this stuff, it's like, I can pretend it's because I'm so sophisticated that God forbid I post that's not my issue. Like, I can probably get into that headspace and I could probably do it. But I actually think what I'm more responding to is the ugliness of it. Like, I can't, it is so... Like,
well, it's not even ugly.
How is this what it has all been leading to? Is like terrible fonts that are not centered and weird cuts.
Impact. It's impact. They're using the impact font.
It's even like they're like, you are actively punished, I feel, if something is thought out and does look nice.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They're like, well, then you're a fake. So then
Oh my
this is like paid
God.
for. And it's like, well, no, it's thought. It's set design. It's
Well, yes, because there's something about what user-generated content is meant to look like citizen journalism. Like it's meant to be like on the ground, like, and so then if you're out there, going to film school, making a short film about a French tutor that ends up being bisexual.
I was going to say bisexual.
You post that, it's so well lit, it's so sepia. You post that, suddenly someone's like, what is this? Like some clip from like a TV show? I don't want to watch that. I'm here to watch someone explain to me why, why like Megalopolis is actually a metaphor for ancient Greece or whatever.
Yeah. Have you guys seen? We're jumping all over the place.
George,
this is
I
a very.
I want to jump somewhere too.
Okay, the one thing about this that I want to say really quick is that one of the things that was like an echo of 2016 again was these videos of like liberal destroys 25 conservatives.
Oh,
have you seen these?
No.
Yes, it's called Jubilee, that show.
Yes.
You know about this?
No, what's that? Am I ill-informed?
God.
They're like
Catherine.
mega viral, and it's like it's like a long clip where there's like one blonde boy who's liberal, and then like conservatives come and sit in a chair in front of him, and they argue about.
I have seen.
It's Marina Abramovich style. It's the
Marina
argument.
Abramovich.
Okay, because I saw one with Buttigieg.
Yes, Buttigieg did one.
Yeah.
And I go, why is Buttigieg doing Marina Abramovich?
That
was my first thought. I was like, huh.
And you better believe people just destroyed
Jemima Kirk's
25
crying across the
undecided
table.
Jemima
voters.
Kirk's Bjork is crying. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And then of course you start thinking, okay, we think, why is culture being so repetitive? But maybe it's just because we're finally old enough to witness a cycle of repetition. And the people that are like 60 years old have just been witnessing these cycles for longer. So they just know that like inherently in the 90s, there was a debate about political correctness. So it's going to come back in another 15 years and it's going to be a debate about wokeness. And then in another 15 years, it's going to be called something else and it's going to be the same exact debate. And then affirmative action is going to be debated because people are in a certain psychological Freudian space where that's the thing that they decide is the enemy. And it's these like cycles of national mood and global mood that just like naturally happen because the world is like one giant organism that's just like processing and unloading things.
Do you think the trends are cycling faster, like how with
Yes,
pants?
I think that gives
like
you
how with
whiplash.
pants.
Yes, I do think that is what's difficult. Like, I almost think Trump coming back, it's like trends are
already
so
back.
fast.
It should be longer. It should have been a decade.
No, genuinely.
It's almost been a decade.
Well, don't say that.
Imagine being
crazy.
25 the first time, and now you're 100 years old.
No, the way that I'm like, that's honestly one of the, this is obviously not the main sad point, but
This is the saddest thing about all of this.
no, but I was like, damn, so much of my life will have been spent thinking about this man.
Yeah.
And being like bothered by this man.
Someone say the best years of your life.
Many.
Although people love to say it's like, it only gets better.
No, my 40s are going to fucking rock.
Totally,
I'm
King.
so excited.
Oh no, my 40s are going to be amazing.
Well, you...
Of course, all of our 40s are going to be electric.
I'm like, I mean, are you kidding me? Blazer, leather bag. It's going to be.
George,
you could do that now.
Your 60s are going to be to die for. See, George,
Oh my
I just
God.
don't want you to like do blazer and leather bag now when it's like you have your 40s.
Oh, you think I should enjoy my 30s a little more?
Yeah,
and
Go
live in
blazer
now.
free. And
Yeah.
you want him in like a
Put him in a mesh tank.
chore coat?
Put him in a chore coat for crying out loud.
Okay.
I don't know.
Talk about trend cycles, by the way. Workwear is going to be so embarrassing in seconds.
George, it's all I have.
I was over at Max's last night, and every single man was wearing some version of like Carhartt, Stan Ray, like, whatever workwear. Every single one with the same exact pocket patterns. And I was like, enjoy it while it lasts, boys.
You holding your giant leather bag, patting it like a cat, like a hairless cat. Enjoy it, boys.
Drinking a glass of champagne, but I walked in with it. No one offered it to me.
That sounds good.
No, that sounds
I wish we could
nice.
all unwind with like a big bottle of red after this.
God, I would
I
give
know.
anything to just like,
What day is it? You're not working today,
no, I'm not working today. We have Fridays off.
and yet here you are.
Yeah.
plugging in those hours.
Well, I have multiple jobs, of course.
I know, multiple income streams.
You have to.
I will say one of the reasons why I feel especially cuckoo is that, so Sam and I had a separate business meeting before our first recording. Then we did that, then first recording, then second recording. Sam has been like, at first he was at his apartment, then he was in studio. He like said hi to the producers. I have been in this spot while the sun has been going down for 4 hours.
No, I don't envy. I know
you're sundowning,
but also, oh my God, but also both of you, I'm familiar with the feeling you're having, which is there's nothing worse than doing 2 in one day. It's hell on earth. You're in hell.
Well, first of all, I would not describe speaking to you in any context.
You know what I'm saying?
Earth.
I take no offense to it. I'm trying to come in and bring a fresh energy because as someone who's been in a podcast studio for 19 hours straight, you lose all everything.
You guys have done
and then someone comments like, it looks like they don't like each other anymore.
Oh my God, I can't wait to stir the pot.
I hate when they do that.
Wait, let's do our first segment.
Oh my
God. Out of the
God.
way, and then we're gonna like go, and then we're gonna really luxuriate in your topic. Okay?
Incredible.
So, Catherine, our first segment is called Straight Shooters, and in this segment, we ask you a series of rapid-fire questions where you have to choose one thing or another thing to gauge your familiarity with and complicity in straight culture. Now, take one final sip of that Pellegrino.
Can you explain it again? I do what?
Okay, so the one rule is you can't ask any follow-up questions.
Oh, cool. Okay, then let's rock and roll.
Catherine, running late or looking stunning for your date?
Sorry, am I picking which one's straight?
Oh, so that's kind
a
of a
question.
No, I really didn't hear the beginning.
No, so that's sort of part of it.
I don't want to be bullied.
No, that's too late though.
Oh my God, y'all know I'm straight with a shred of bi. But it's a small shred.
The shred,
the shred is getting
shape.
smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
No, it actually got bigger and then smaller and then bigger and then smaller.
It's like the New York Times election needle, but for your bisexuality.
My God, do not. You know, I was on a plane watching that needle fly.
Wow.
I was up in the air coming
with
here.
With a Pellegrino?
I was having actually my new thing, and not it shows my age, but what's better than a white wine spritzer?
No, that's fun.
Oh, yeah.
Especially on a plane, you go, I'll have a white wine, could I also have like a seltzer?
Misha's a big white wine spritzer head.
It keeps you hydrated. It keeps you on your toes.
It's practically good for you.
Okay, sorry, running late or looking great?
For a date.
Looking stunning for your date.
Looking stunning.
Perfect. Okay. Catherine, leaving a bad Yelp review or saying, to hell with you.
To hell with you.
Mamma mia or Papa, don't preach.
I gotta go, Mamma Mia.
Okay. Finding Nemo or losing the youth vote?
Finding Nemo.
Uncle Sam or Auntie Anne's?
Auntie Anne's forever.
Okay. Carrot top or apple bottom?
Apple bottom jeans boots with the fur. Got the whole club looking at her.
Peekaboo or snake to the loo?
Snake to the loo.
Okay. We hold these truths to be self-evident, or when it comes to Charlie Puth, let's just say I'm hesitant.
Charlie Puth should be a bigger artist.
I completely agree.
We agreed after 7 bars of chocolate.
Wait, Sam, your last one was so me.
Oh, that's true. You know, we influence each other.
I think I would, doing a political one and then a non-political one is very me, and then Charlie Puth is very me.
Yeah.
I think I'm way more Charlie Puth than you are.
No, that's true. I guess I don't really understand his deal.
I have no idea what his deal is. I only know him as a Swiftie. I only know him as part of the Swift extended universe.
As a gay guy, I only know him as someone that posts thirst traps that gay guys will put on Twitter.
And is he married to a straight woman?
Yeah.
He is straight. And
dating?
As a Charlie Puth fan, I will say that I actually really like some of his songs.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
George.
What songs?
I like this song called Charlie Be Quiet, which is a sort of, do you remember that micro
turn
moment?
The screen off.
Do you remember the micro moment when the first Olivia Rodrigo album dropped where it was suddenly cool to be Avril Lavigne?
Yeah.
Yes.
So he, that was what he was doing with that. It's almost I would say almost like a Simple Plan type beat.
I like
punk
Simple
pop.
Plan.
Oh.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I like that song. I gotta say, I literally sometimes listen to his album.
This is
That's
really
crazy.
It's crazy.
earth-shattering.
You're scaring me, George.
It's already a
And
hard day.
I'll say
I know,
another
our
thing.
country has
I also
fallen.
I love his thirst traps. I think they're fun and like
Is he hot? Like, let me look him up.
he's interesting looking.
I mean, I actually do appreciate I'm glad that he's thirst trapping. I think that's
Charlie?
fun.
Yeah, I like
Puth.
and the thirst traps have a sense of whimsy to them that is I appreciate way more than like a Shawn Mendes.
They actually remind me a lot of myself.
He
agree.
looks
Well,
younger.
he's
He looks
very-
younger than he is.
He's like you in that he's like silly but hot.
Yeah.
I love his little like eyebrow situation.
His little
Same.
eyebrow situation is fun. What did Catherine get on our new scale of disease or not
This
disease?
is not. Oh,
So-
he looks too young. You know that might
He
think that I
does
really
look-
want to
he's-
fuck an
he-
old guy. Oh my god, you.
Yeah, me.
UAF.
Conan. Yeah.
I feel like I heard you fuck someone that I know.
Oh, which one?
I can't remember. Kiki after.
One time I had sex with a 66-year-old man.
That's great.
Was that recent, Sam?
No, it wasn't.
Okay. So how old were you?
Literally like 19.
Oh my
No.
god.
Yeah, we might have to cut this.
Why?
Because it's scary.
Were you scared?
I was a little
I'm
scared.
sorry. That's horrible.
But it was my fault. I like fully
No.
went over to his house.
Okay, it was not your
yeah,
fault.
I'm sorry. We have to sit you down, tie you to the chair, and tell you it's not your fault.
Sam,
and you did nothing
Sam,
wrong.
it's not your fault. We're being Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting right now.
Well, I was just like, sure, I'll go to this random man's house. And that
All right,
was
can I
not
say something
smart.
since we're on this topic?
Yeah.
One of my regrets is not doing that more when I was 19.
See, you can't win.
You can't win.
You really can't win because I do think obviously there are positives and negatives to many elements of gay culture, and I'll be the first to say that.
Well, that's George takes a bold stance on gay culture.
I'll take a bold stance and say you win some, you lose some when it comes to being gay. Okay, but I do think the sort of the tradition of like age gap, like sexual awakening for the younger man and sort of daddy, like almost coming into daddydom for the older one. It's like they're both discovering a part of themselves. And I think that can be, if it is, obviously completely consensual and completely above board, that can be a very beautiful part of gay culture. And there's no way to go back to being 22 and do that. So it's either you experience it or you don't. And I didn't. I never went for older men when I was that age. And it's something I will regret for the rest of my life.
I feel like you still could
No.
get with a much older person and feel like
you can still feel
I did.
baby.
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean to ask you. Speaking of that great tradition, I mean to ask you about a Greek question.
Please.
There's a term I was sent.
Okay.
Akrasia or akrasia. It's a term, a Greek word that refers to the tendency to act against one's better judgment. Akrasia.
No, I'm seeing it.
What do
It's
have you heard
interesting.
that?
Here's the thing with Greek.
Okay.
Ready?
Uh-huh.
There are some things that are I have heard that, but it is not it's not something I could have told you off the top of my head what it
Okay.
means. The thing with Greek is that there are things in ancient Greek and sort of in classics textbooks that have taken on a life of their own that are very different than your experience as a person living in contemporary Greece. So sometimes there will be a full-on Greek word that I don't necessarily know, but American people that took classics classes in college will know.
Interesting.
And then I'll feel so ignorant because I'm like, well, I don't know that, but I do know the Greek word for, I don't know, bathroom.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, you're like, that's not part of my daily
Yeah.
life.
Not part
So
of-
it's more
exactly.
of it's more of a I went to college and learned this word vibe.
And it's also even things things also do genuinely mean slightly different things in ancient Greek and in modern Greek, like the same exact word. So sometimes someone will talk to me about what something means. I'll be like, well, in fact, in modern Greek, that just means, oh my God, let's talk about modern Greek. My mom is calling me. 1 second.
Oh my God, let's pick it up.
Ναι, μαμά, είμαι στη μέση του podcast, okay?
That's amazing.
Did you hear Winning Put podcast in that sentence?
No, that's amazing.
George, you did my favorite thing, which is
Sorry.
speaking Greek,
My
but
mom has
saying
literally been
the word podcast in the middle of it.
My mom has been trying to reach me for 2 days, and
Aw.
in my mind, of course, I'm like, there's no way I could have. There's not a single way I could have gotten back to her. When in fact, all it would have taken is a single text.
Yeah, it's tough. You should text her. Ah ha 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 ha.
Shut the fuck. Hey Sam, shut the fuck up. My my first time spiking the camera. Now let me ask you this. So acrasia, would you say acrasia or acrasia?
I would assume, and maybe I'm wrong, but if I were to see that in Greek, I would assume it's akrasia.
Akrasia, thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
I only asked because I was feeling really connected to the meaning of it because I'm obsessed with not doing the things that I should do.
Yeah.
Someone acts against their better judgment through weakness of will.
Ooh.
Yeah, like me not going to the gym.
I didn't like that
Right,
judgment
right,
at the end.
Yeah.
Weakness of will. Maybe I'm being self-destructive.
Akrasia. Okay, this is good. Well, anyways, Pat and I were talking about it today because I brought it up. And I was like, it's perfect 'cause I'm seeing George later. And then Pat thought you were betraying him because you were in town and didn't tell him. Little did I know, you're merely a computer. So you are on his shit list.
Oh my God, so he thought I was in town.
I thought you were in too, so I was like, I'm going to see Sam and George later.
I see. Oh, well, it's going to be great when I finally text him after
big
this.
reveal.
And the big reveal.
Yes.
Okay, wait. Do we want to get? I mean, it's not like it's 3:30.
When did we start?
We started at like 2:30. Didn't we? 2:45.
No, we started at like 2:45.
Okay, great.
Okay, great. You guys are dying to leave.
No, I'm just like
What's wrong?
Well, no, I feel like we should get into the.
Sorry, I'm gonna shut
traditionally
up.
we would get into the straight topic at a stage before, but we've like been so non-traditional, and it almost feels like stopping conversation to get into the straight topic.
I know. Well, you and Pat are so. This happens when Pat is on the podcast too. You and Pat are so well trained in the art of conversation that it actually it makes us not follow our own rules for our own podcast because we're like, well, we better just talk for 25 minutes about sort of like the ins and outs of New York versus LA comedy and whether TikTok is good or bad.
I'm laughing because we just got a comment that was it was like, you guys are the worst interviewers I've ever heard of in my life.
But interviewing is different than conversation.
It's different. It's a different thing. You're not like, tell me about this.
We love to converse.
You talk.
We love to talk. Face it, girl. You talk. But also, this is so, I was so excited to come because this is so easy to talk to old friends.
I know.
And you know that sometimes you're carrying a conversation for work and it's exhausting.
Yeah, of course.
Don't we know it?
I've seen some things. I've heard some things. I've been involved in some things. Ow, I'm so sorry. I have a crick in my neck.
Oh, no.
But this happens to me once a week.
So we don't need to go to the hospital.
So we're not going straight to hospital. I prefer the British version, straight to hospital.
Straight to hospital.
I read my straight topic. I thought of it. I kind of forgot, and then I thought of it in the car. I ran it by
Great.
Sam, so I can drop it here if you want in the chat.
Yes, drop it. What is your straight topic and what is straight about it? Go.
Movies are straight.
Wow.
And film is gay. Do you like that?
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that.
Movies are straight. It's like we're going to the movies. It's like, okay, we're seeing Fast and Furious. Like we're seeing Marvel. It's like we're going to the movies. Buckle up. Like, dude, have you seen that movie? Like, let's watch some movies. It's like, okay, shut up.
I actually do think we need to differentiate it more literally. Like, it actually would be nice to be like the same way that a movie is different than a TV show. We need a movie and a film. That's two different things. Like, a film's coming out. It's
Honora is a film.
Honora's a film, and I would like to see the film. And Smile 2 is a movie.
Smile 2 is an amazing movie, and movies can be amazing
because they shouldn't even be in competition with each other. They're so different.
It's different. It's like, is this?
Well,
a
you know what
series?
it is? It's vase versus vase.
Wow, and vase is straight.
And vase is straight, but also cheap. It's basically when it reaches a certain threshold of sophistication, monetary value, whatever, it becomes a vase, and it's that, but for
cinema.
A TikTok can never be a short film,
no matter how hard they try. God, that's
what's wrong?
When people are like, TikTok is doing some of the most amazing film stuff right now, where it's like,
people
if
say
you think
that?
if you look at the editing, it's actually really interesting. It's like kind of a new cinema if you think about it.
Who's saying that?
Disgusting perverts.
The same people who are working on book projects.
Literally.
No, sometimes, yeah.
Really, people are like, if you that's where things are happening.
Like they're all just little directors.
But guess what? I absolutely adore TikTok.
Do you?
Have you guys ever laughed so hard in your life?
Yes.
I will be. I mean, it's probably. I've been spending a lot of time alone, and because when you're touring or traveling, you're by yourself and you do go crazy. But there'll be times I'm alone in bed, I'm in tears laughing at a TikTok, and whether or not it's a good TikTok or a funny joke, it's brought me joy, and I have to accept that.
So I've
only experienced TikTok as a trap, where it's like I'm there against my will.
You're angry,
and I almost in a gambling way, where I'm like, I hated that. I hated that. I hated that. And I'm waiting for something good to come. And I'm I'll get off when
You're fighting the hug from your estranged parent. You're fighting the hug and you need to sink into the hug. That's what's happening.
No, that makes sense.
I've been worried recently because I have never looked at TikTok in my life.
Sorry, record that, post that straight to grid. I have never looked at.
I have seen TikToks people send to me and then it opens on the Safari app.
Hell.
I have literally never in my life seen what a For You page looks like.
I think
for the
that's your
longest
privilege.
time,
yeah.
For the longest time, I would, I'll say it, feel a little better than everyone else because
Well, you
that
are.
was the case.
You are
But here's
better.
the thing, Catherine. Recently, I would say over the last year, more and more smart people that I really respect and find to be incredibly informative and intelligent will tell me it's like they're dropping one by one because they're all getting into TikTok, even at this late stage. I would say you're the latest example of this.
I joined late, but it's a huge part of my life. And actually watching my boyfriend shout out to my straight boyfriend, watching him use TikTok to build, this is humiliating, his podcast has been amazing. He really is a master of the form.
Wow.
And and it's
so in that sense, he's a filmmaker.
My boyfriend is a filmmaker. Yeah, I joined it late, but it has brought me so much joy. And now there is this disconnect between people who know the weird sounds and references and then those who don't. And I don't know what's better or worse.
Well, this is the thing. I don't know them. And I remember very distinctly in let's say the 2010s when I was very active on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I remember knowing about...
I miss it so bad.
Knowing about memes and trends, and then in 3 weeks reading about them in the Times style section and being like, oh my God, these losers, they're all fucking pathetic 35-year-olds writing about what's happening on Twitter. And now I have become the news consumer that is hearing about TikTok trends 3 weeks late because I'm not there on the ground floor. Those style section pieces are for me now.
I would be scared for you when you first open it because I really do think
Pandora's box.
I remember looking at the TikTok app for the first time and feeling nauseous.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, have you done shrooms?
Mm-hmm.
And you're before the fun part and you're nauseous, your head kind of hurts, and you're like, oh, this is going to be bad. And then you get past it and you're fine. There is that moment of looking at TikTok for the first time where you're like, these people are sick. The world is disgusting. Everything is so empty. There's death all around me.
Okay,
and
but
then
hold
you settle
on to
in.
that. That's the truth.
No, there's so much joy within the app. There is so much life.
Joy?
There is so much life within the app.
Listen,
Trust.
I'm happy for all creators, especially LGBTQ plus ones.
I think it's making me a worse artist, but it's bringing me. It's like a drug. It's a Band-Aid. It's an instant hit of dopamine in a really dark time.
I want to say this is a huge shift of subject slightly. I listened
Huge slightly. It's a good title.
Yeah.
It's huge, slightly.
I listened to your episode of Las Culturistas.
Oh my God, how was that?
It was so interesting because this is a podcast about podcasting first and foremost.
Of course.
And it was so jarring because I was like, you guys were all talking about how much time has passed since we've all known each other. Yeah. And it's true, but it was freaking me out because it was so the end of the story in a way.
And I disagree with that.
Really?
I feel like where it's just starting.
Okay, I love
but
this.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Keep going.
Well, I was just I felt zoomed out from life, kind of, listening to that.
But you know what it is? I think I feel like I see you guys more frequently than I see them.
Yeah, that's true.
So it felt more like, oh my God, remember that?
Right.
I don't know.
I'm trying to remember. Okay, no, I did not listen to that, but I did listen to Matt on Seek Treatment. And that made me feel insane.
Sometimes I think I forget how much time has passed.
Yeah.
I think I do. I do feel that we're still getting started. We're still scrappy. We're still figuring it out, and we're still trying to figure out how to make what we actually want to make.
Yeah.
And so it's funny to be remember back then because I'm whoa, right. I do kind of have to update my ledger, and I forget sometimes to update my ledger because I'm it's still 2017.
Same. But do you think that's a pandemic thing too? We just had this huge chunk
Yeah. No,
Or
there's
no?
something to that. No, there's something to that.
Here's the thing with the pandemic. I've always felt like, in many ways, in fact, in most ways, we were the perfect age during that time because we were not young enough that it affected our education or our upbringing or our family life or our socialization. And we were also not old enough that we had kids, had families. It didn't, we're all able to have jobs and careers that basically could transition to remote work for a time, and we weren't like left behind economically. Like there were so many ways in which we were incredibly lucky, but then a way in which we like were unlucky is that we lost those like last few years of youthful wonder, which is obviously it's so much less important than any other possible thing you could lose. Obviously, like there are people whose lives were ruined, there are people who died, but it is that if there is one thing we truly lost, it's like the idea of just like the transition between feeling like you're in your 20s and feeling like you're a full adult happened without us noticing.
Agree.
Yeah.
100 million %. That's even like, because I just turned 33 and I feel like I feel like I just turned 30 and emotionally, because I'm like, oh wow, I'm really like, my partner moved in, like we're doing this, I can afford a plane ticket, like I'm in my 30s. But really,
even when I was getting married, I was like, what am I, a child bride? And actually everyone was also acting like that to
but you
me
kind of are.
You are a child bride.
You are still. I'm like, I don't know when.
No, I've been calling Matthew a groomer this whole time.
Matthew is a groomer.
When someone becomes pregnant, I'm like, wait, you're way too young for this, sweetie.
I literally told someone recently, I was like, it just finally feels like I'm not in college anymore. And I was like, that's insane.
That's how I feel too. It's like 10.
I'm 35. Like, I'm fully 35.
Yeah.
Like, that is a
At least 10
crazy
years
thing to
ago.
say.
Yeah. Respect.
No, it's true.
Oh my God. Everyone's kooky.
But yeah, everyone's kooky and life is crazy.
Life
and,
is la la la.
You know, we didn't talk about the topic, but that's okay.
We did.
But we did. And like
Movies, right?
Movies are great.
No, we talked about it enough, and it's like, I actually have found this to be so fun.
Yeah, that's all life should be.
Oh, it's completely fun.
Life
but I
should be
also want
fun
to know,
and like joyful. And it's so hard to stay that way.
It is.
Do you know that I'm dressed like a flight attendant, or do you not care?
I have actually noticed that.
No, I love the scarf. It's so fun.
I noticed
received
that, and
it.
actually, from my angle, I was like, am I seeing something incorrectly?
No, I received this at a Diane von Furstenberg event for women.
Oh.
And I said, checkmate. I love it.
Yeah, I love
you
it
know,
as
one
well.
of my favorite things to talk about is how the wrap dress is talked about as though it's literally like as important as inventing the nuclear
wheel.
bomb. Like
Yeah.
she's Oppenheimer.
Guess what? It is.
Every time she is mentioned, Diane von Furstenberg, there is an interview with Diane von Furstenberg on every single New York Times Sunday section. They will not stop interviewing her about
I know, but
inventing
let
the
me
wrap
say,
dress.
to borrow a phrase from Rihanna, as a fluctuating queen, the wrap dress is everything. It always fits. It always fits. And it always makes you look snatched. So
Do
thank
you
you,
think
Diane.
so? I mean, obviously you do. It's your like. I'm not saying do you think so for you, but I'm just saying. I'm trying to think.
I think
like,
it's universally flattering. I do.
It is universally.
I don't think it's trendy or like necessarily always.
Yeah,
in
but you think
style.
it's more universally
Google
flattering
it.
than
I
like,
have to Google
let's
it.
say, shirt, dress, belt.
I mean, there's that's. I don't know what you're saying. There's a similarity there.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, shirt dress. I mean, this is. What's a shirt dress to you?
Like, I don't know. Like a
What a
dress
shirt-
that has
Jenna
buttons.
Lyons.
What does
whole-
shirt dress mean
I
to
basically
you?
everything I know,
New
everything
segment.
to me like
I see
spectrum
shirt
of
dress as a
fashion.
woman at the beach.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. You're thinking
Yeah, like
cover up.
You're thinking oversized Oxford, like my boyfriend.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can
You know
belt
what's so
it.
chic? Okay, braided belt,
Mm-hmm.
really, really long. So then you do it one extra loop. You do a loop, but then you also like tie it.
Cool.
No,
You know what
that's
I mean?
great. love
Around the
that.
rest
Yeah.
of
It's giving like Keira Knightley, rail thin, bones jutting out of the hips, the belt's like falling
Yeah.
off, like
Yeah.
at Glastonbury.
Yeah. Okay, I think
Okay, we kind of touched on everything.
Yeah. Any other things we didn't touch on?
here's what I have to. I do want to a little because I really like the movies versus films thing, and I just want to say one more thing. Okay. All right, to bring it back to politics.
Oh,
Awesome.
I actually think film is thriving but movies are suffering right now. Hear me out.
And that's why Trump was elected.
Exactly.
To get movies back.
Movies traditionally are the more privileged form. It's like they're the big blockbusters. It takes more money to make them. The actors get paid more. They are more flashy. More people see them. And films are like for, gay Italians, and they're in like little screens, and, you have to first get a PhD in order to go see them, blah, blah. What has happened is movies have suffered so much. No one's going to the multiplex anymore. Everyone's watching Netflix. But films, because they were already this like small enterprise, have actually been able to weather the storm. And there is an Honora. There still is a Cannes Film Festival every year with all a bunch of artsy films.
Yes.
And so I think that like the people that make the big movies are becoming more reactionary in the same way that the people that were on top of the social ladder are becoming reactionary politically, because they have lost a tiny bit of their power.
Wow.
Thoughts?
I think this is genius, first of all. I am trying to think of literally anything to say about it.
I know. I'm kind of like, keep going.
Yeah.
I'm like watching
But does this track what I'm saying?
I think it does track. I think it's sort of
Catherine's
like...
not convinced.
I don't know. I don't think movies have lost their power. I feel like more and more and more. Well, yeah,
But they're like flops. Like that no one is going out to the multiplex.
And yet we're pouring like more and more money into making like the same horrible things.
So, yeah, I guess what you're saying is almost more like movies are like the Democratic Party.
But don't you think, Catherine, that is what's reactionary about it? It's like, because
they're grasping so tight and it's burning their hands.
It's like the way that movies going from being bad and original to bad and derivative is like the Republican Party going from Bush to Trump.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes. I'm on board. God, I do think films will always exist. People will always make films. Movies are like theme parks. It's like, is the roller coaster going to shut down?
Once they're no longer monoculture, can they even be called movies?
Well, literally, Netflix and all the other horrible movies that come out on streamers, except the ones that we would make, of course.
Of course, and the ones our friends are in, and we think those are awesome.
And we love those.
They're so good.
You were so good in that.
But like, because of those movies, and it's like those movies and film are actually the only two things now. Like a movie coming out in theaters that's just a movie, I'm sort of like, what's the point?
A movie, like what's the last movie that came out that wasn't part of a franchise? A movie.
Well, Honora, Conclave.
But you mean a movie, not a film.
Movie. Not a film.
Oh, wait, is Conclave a movie or a film?
No, it's a...
I literally don't know what that is.
Oh, you would love it, Catherine.
It's
about how they're electing the new
Someone texted
pope.
me about that.
They're electing the new pope, and Ray Fiennes is Nancy Pelosi.
What? Could it be?
So, okay, what's the last... This is a good...
Okay, what's the last movie?
Oppenheimer.
But that wasn't that a film?
No.
No, it was... You
know that I saw that 3 times?
Are you an Oppenheimer head?
No, I was I was about to have surgery, and so I couldn't do anything, but I just kept seeing, there were a few things playing, and I would just see them like again and again and again, because I had nothing to do and no one to...
And how many times did you see the Barbie film?
I did see it one time.
Yeah, so you preferred Oppenheimer?
I can't, off the record. I can't. I did... And I did.
And so who did you vote for? Just curious.
Ms. Coconut.
Miss Cuckoo Nut.
Yeah. Interesting. Oppenheimer, I think, is a good choice.
Yeah.
But I see what Sam is saying. Like, it is filmic.
It's still like...
Great word.
It's like...
Thank you.
Takes some patience. And it takes like being like, there's going to be a lot of stuff here.
God, what's the movie before that?
A movie.
Like not based on any IP, that was a real movie.
Hold for 12 minutes.
I know.
I'm like, how do we look up, like, trying to Google the ungoogleable?
We finally found a question they can't answer.
The AI overview can't tackle.
George is on it.
I love
God,
the
it is
blue
so
light
No, it's really
reflecting off
nice.
his eyes.
I mean, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Worldwide box office 2024. Okay. Inside Out 2, Deadpool and Wolverine, Despicable Me 4, Dune Part 2,
Fuck.
Godzilla X Kong, Kung Fu Panda
Twisting
4,
the knife.
Beetlejuice,
Oh.
Bad Boys Ride or Die, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Twisters, Alien Romulus. All right. Number 12. It's the first. Oh no, It Ends With Us is also based on a book. Okay. Venom: The Last Dance. The Wild Robot?
Oh,
I think-
The Wild Robot.
What's the wild robot?
That's a movie. That's an animated movie that's supposed to be good, but I haven't seen, and I don't know if it's based on anything. That could be
I don't know if being based on a book,
counts.
it's not the same as being like. But then Dune, yeah, I don't know.
This is great. A Quiet Place Day One, the Garfield movie,
A
Joker
Quiet
Folie
Place,
à
isn't
Deux.
that original?
But that's a sequel.
It's still a
sequel.
sequel. Yeah, yeah. Okay, keep going.
Joker Folie à Deux, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. All right, here we go.
We're hacking the mainframe.
This-
Here was a failed movie,
Okay.
Okay.
The Fall Guy. If The Fall Guy had succeeded, that would have been a real movie.
What's
Wow.
that about?
It was about
who-
Ryan,
Stuntman.
it's about
It's a rom-com with
Oh,
about a
that's
stuntman.
Ryan
Cute.
Gosling
That sounds
and
cute.
Emily Blunt, and he plays a stuntman.
and it's original.
And it's original.
And it's original.
Wow.
And guess what? It's starring the two stars of the biggest movies of the last year. 'Cause
And it flopped.
it flopped fully.
Was it supposed to be good or bad?
Medium.
I think so.
Interesting.
I think it was medium.
Medium rare.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, George, that was actually quite sad.
That was really, really hard to hear what you said.
Because I was actually
boom,
like,
boom.
sometimes I think people are over-exaggerating when they're like, everything's a sequel, everything's a franchise. And I'm like, grow up. And then you're like, damn, wait, that was true.
But this is what I mean when I say film is thriving, because it's like there's no such thing as a mass appeal movie anymore. So you just have to give up on that and understand that you're not going to make the big bucks.
Well,
There have been some very good films in the last few years.
I agree.
I'm trying to think.
It like shockingly good. I think that's the secret is like once you give up on trying to reach a lot of people, you can make good films.
Or I feel like you can end up reaching tons of people if you make something that's really specific and true to you, which is hard to make happen these days. In these days.
I know.
God, what's better than a Cool Ranch Dorito? I'm sorry, I just had to take a hit.
No, I'm
No,
so
you needed
jealous.
that.
It's fucking. God, what's everyone gonna have for dinner tonight?
That's
Thank
a really
you.
good question. I'm
Thank you for
craving a
asking
burger.
that.
I was craving a smash burger. Fuck.
Fuck.
Oh,
do you
really?
I
See,
have no idea. You know, I'm
I
not
want-
in charge of what I'm eating. It's all about what Misha wants.
Is that how it is? Are you okay? Blink twice.
but Sam, you don't care though.
I don't care.
What do you mean you don't care?
I give up all control. I say, I don't care what we eat. What do you want?
Really? That's you?
Unless I had something like that for lunch. Then I'm
Classic.
like, I don't want that.
A
'cause I had it for
classic
lunch.
no-go.
I would say
You
this
can't
is
argue
one
with
of the
that.
this is one of the least this is one of our biggest differences probably is like I fetishize restaurants and I'm so like if I'm having a bad day, like a good meal will really turn things around.
Everything. It's all we have.
Yeah.
You married so well.
That's true.
Tell me about it.
I'm waiting.
But I
for
want to
my-
go back to the smash
I'm waiting
burger.
for my slot at the table.
I feel like next time you're in town,
Once I stop,
we have invited you.
I know. No, I know. I whenever I get invited, I'm like, I cannot fuck this up. It's such a beautiful invite. Okay, sorry, what were we saying?
I was just saying this is a very minor point. I really am a smash burger truther. Like I want thick. I don't
As in
want smash.
you don't like Smash?
Oh my god,
I love
I don't like
love
Smash.
I'm all in on the Smash.
I want
too.
thick and juicy, and I want it medium rare, and I want to really feel like I'm biting into it.
Stop being so erotic.
I like that, but I can't. What's your favorite burger then?
Yeah.
like favorite restaurant.
I guess like where
Like,
do you,
what do you mean?
where do you go and who has your favorite burger then? Is what I mean.
Currently.
Currently. Oh God. Okay. Well, this is not my favorite burger, but like there's a place close
What
to
did I
me.
ask, Sam?
So George, the question was
Just remind him really quick what I
So the
asked.
question was, what's your favorite burger? I fully kicked my shoe off, and it's so far away I can't get
I
it.
love that fancy free. Okay, sorry, George. I want to hear.
There's a place called Inga's in Brooklyn that has a good burger, and you like can traditional potato bun, but like a nice thick burger. You can sit at the bar, have a little martini, have a little burger.
Oh, fuck
I'll
yeah.
go there. I'll go there by myself, dine alone.
That
dine
sounds
solo.
so good right now.
That sounds so fun.
Can I ask everyone before we go, what's everyone's favorite kind of fry? Because I'm interested in this as well.
No, this is really important.
Whenever we have a podcast host on, they can't help but be podcast host. I actually
I'm
love to see
sick.
it.
I'm
You are
sick.
like, I find it comforting.
Aw.
Catherine, your Pellegrino and Doritos combo could unite America. You are literally uniting the left and the right.
Get you a girl
Trump,
who can do both.
Kamala.
Okay, yeah.
It's such a good
Okay,
food.
Sam, what's your favorite fry?
First of all, I love a little Cajun seasoning
Fuck yeah.
on the fry.
Okay.
And I like a medium thickness. I hate the shoestring fries. I would
Okay.
rather die. I think a waffle fry is fun,
Totally.
but I like it every once in a while.
Totally.
So just sort of a nice medium thickness with Cajun seasoning fry.
Cool. And crisp.
But some soft ones in
So
there.
I like soft.
I love a soft.
I like a soft fry.
I like medium thick, crisp mayo.
Love.
Oh, well, European, of course.
Euro.
But Sam actually does something very interesting.
Wait,
He likes them dry.
that's true.
That's spooky.
He doesn't want anything. He doesn't want any
that's-
dipping sauce.
I'm
don't
a
dip 'em.
sauce, and people have called me this for years. I'm a sauce queen. I like.
Yeah,
to be
no, I
dunked in
need the mayo.
up
yeah.
to 3. Up to I like.
I say if the fry doesn't stand up by its own, I don't want it at all.
Really.
Well,
Yeah.
When I was in college, after like a big exam, I would go to this one food establishment on campus, and I would get chicken tenders, and then I would go and get every available dipping sauce. There were
Yes.
approximately 8, and I would line them up: honey mustard, ranch,
Oh my
ketchup,
God.
mayo. There was like a green one, and then there was like a hot sauce.
Bliss.
And I would just by myself. It was very like, do not look at me. It's time to do George's big ritual, which was taking each chicken tender and dipping it into the different
Oh my
sauces.
God, George's big ritual. I want to recreate that.
I know,
That
we
sounds
should
so
do that.
good. I love sauce.
fuck.
I know. I'm excited for dinner, but I don't know.
I love this episode.
It's
No, me too.
It's
It's-
without flaw.
It's so classic, like people talking.
People aren't doing that enough.
People aren't doing that enough
If people
these
talked
days.
more, the election wouldn't have gone the way it
Thank
did.
you. Communication
Yeah,
is so
it's-
important.
More,
Totally.
we need more podcasts, not less.
Especially how we're doing it, where it's like our circle of
yeah,
like-minded people.
Yeah, everyone
Yeah,
likes to
yeah.
hear about the New York Comedy Scene Circuit
New York comedies.
2017.
Yeah. I know. Sometimes I'm like,
universal.
damn, I feel so like these people that signed up to. And I'm talking about all the people that listen to the comedy podcast that like signed up because they're like, I want to hear something funny. The things they know against their will after all these years about like which open mics produced which people and like how this changed and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But also, guess what? Can I say something?
What?
If there's one thing this election has shown, it's that, and I say this essentially seriously, the open mic scene of that era, like, was a rupture in American politics. It's literally like the people that were in the creek and the cave became Joe Rogan.
I literally
Wow.
saw Tim
People
Dillon
that-
do bits about ice cream.
I
at the Creek
opened
in the
for Tim
Cave.
Dillon. I
Oh
opened
my
for Tim Dillon.
God.
That's
I
wild.
opened for Tim Dillon in Boston. It was the night he got a phone call that he hadn't gotten SNL. And I
Oh,
remember
wow.
very well, he like got a phone call from his reps, hadn't gotten SNL. And at the time I was so impressed that someone could even be up for SNL. And I was like, wow. And then he went up and crushed. And by the way, with
Well, he's
material that was
so
in
funny.
with
If you guys
material that
know
is
him.
in no way political or culture. Okay, let's do our final segment.
Let's do our final segment.
The way I want to be there so we can all just get a drink.
No, I
cannot
know.
It would be
describe to
so
you.
fun.
Well, imagine my situation of having to go to the airport.
That
Wait,
hurts.
Catherine, where are you performing
so
in San
sorry.
Francisco?
I'm not performing. I'm literally, my brother just moved there, and Brian's sister
okay.
lives there, and so we're going to see them.
That'll be fun.
But I will say that was actually one of my favorite shows of my whole tour at Bimbo's. Have you guys
Oh,
been
Bimbo's
there?
is great.
I've not been to
Do you know what
Bimbo's.
I did last time I went there? I did the Swedish American Music Hall.
Okay,
Have you done that?
No, is it beautiful?
It's like probably like a 300-person venue in like a really good location. It's nondescript. I'd never heard about it before. And it was like the most fun show of the tour. Like I just
Yeah.
had so much fun.
They were an amazing crowd. Good vibes there. But yeah, I'm literally just going for family and fun. But yeah,
Love that.
I'm flying out of Burbank, so it's easier.
So they say. I've never done it.
It's easy breezy. There's one room.
Go have a meal at Nopalito.
Ooh, putting it on my list.
Well, we should do our final segment, which is called Shout Outs.
Yes.
Where we give a shout out to anything that we are enjoying, people, places, things, ideas. Imagine 2001, you're at TRL shouting out to your squad back home, but about anything that you like. We always make them up on the spot, and this is such an amazing time politically to be overly positive because it feels so natural and normal. George, do you have one?
Did I already shout out On Beauty when I was reading it?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Hold on, I'm going to think of one. We always think of them on the spot, Catherine.
Okay, I have one. That is not groundbreaking. What's up, freaks, losers, and perverts? I'm here today to be a basic gay guy, and guess what? To even be a basic gay guy, late, because this will be coming out in 2 weeks, and even as I'm saying it right now, it's late. But I want to give a shout out to Addison Rae's Aquamarine. Aquamarine. This song is good as hell, and of course Addison Rae is an interesting figure because she starts in the space of sort of irony. You're like, oh, so this is funny that we're standing this girl, and then each song you're like, well, wait, I'm liking this more and more. And Diet Pepsi were like, oh, this is good, and I was like, yeah, this is fun, this is good. Aquamarine has taken over me in a huge way.
That's cool.
It's speaking to me in a way where I'm like, this girl has taste, she has style. This is both hearkening to the past and yet completely fresh and completely new.
Wow.
I'm feeling like kind of blown away and sort of like, I don't know what's going on in that team over there, but it is good stuff. And it makes me feel fun. It makes me feel hopeful. And I think it's nice when someone does something sort of like that is simple but so perfect despite that. And I think it's doing less, and and because of that, it's doing more. So huge shout out to Addison Rae, Aquamarine. I love it, and I can't stop listening to it.
Wow, I'm more of a Diet Pepsi girl, but I agree. She's doing amazing work.
Yeah,
she's really doing amazing work. Yeah. I also, people were saying Aquamarine is sort of Ray of Light era-esque, and that has made me go back and re-listen to Ray of Light. And I mean, no skips.
No, I love Ray of Light.
Okay.
You go, George.
What's up, interior decor fans? I want to give a shout out to purchasing a nice silver picture frame.
Wow.
This is something you think you're going to do when you're 65, 70, 85 years old. And I'm here to tell you, you can do it when you're 33. Go online and purchase one, and then go to nationsphotolab.com and get a photo printed. It's very cheap. You put it in the frame. You have some decor. It is so actually relatively easy to find an affordable silver frame that actually looks very expensive, and you get to feel like a sophisticated grandmother in the Upper East Side that has pictures of her grandkids everywhere. But it can be just pictures of your friends or your loved ones or your siblings or your family or even your pet.
Whoa.
So get out there, and an easy way to just really spruce up the decor in your house, especially in this climate, if you want to just look around and see things that make you feel good, is to purchase an affordable silver frame and put a photograph inside of that frame.
Wow.
Woo, woo.
Hey, Upper East Siders. Okay, I have two. I'm going to do quickly. I want to say shout out to my travel girls, my absolute road dogs. Let me tell you this. Shout out to carrying 2 small suitcases instead of 1 big one. Let me tell you why. It's cumbersome. It's always overweight. Get 2 small bags. You're walking even down the stairs looking so, this word's been taken by society, demure. I mean, it's really so delicate to walk with 2 small suitcases. Shout out to 2 instead of 1 big. And shout out to the brand Calpak, CALPAK. They make amazing like toiletry kits, carry-on bags, I don't know if they're suitcase, but I have like a tote from them I really support, a big backpack from them. Shout out to that brand. Shout out to carrying a few small things instead of 1 big thing, which you wouldn't think will be better, but it is. And the other thing I was going to shout out is shout out to deleting Instagram and TikTok off your phone for the day, then re-downloading at night to check in.
Wow.
And let me tell you this, when they're off your phone, you know what I like to scroll instead for a little dopamine hit is the Real Reel. Get some beautifully pre-worn pieces.
I'm the king of that.
Are you?
Yes.
Really? Oh, cool. I love it so much.
Although I'll tell you one thing. I tried to sell something on the Real Reel.
You can't.
It was a brand new Comme des Garçons sweater, and I ended up getting $40.
Yep. It's unfortunately doesn't go both ways for some reason. Anyways, 2 disparate thoughts, but I would be remiss if I didn't bring them both up during these trying times.
Yeah, of course. I mean, those are the two little suitcases. You're carrying both.
I don't know why. It's just like it's really changed everything. And guess what? Just check actually Roxanne Gay inspired me because I feel like I heard an interview with her once where she was just like, always check a bag. Stop trying to make everything fit. She was just let yourself do that.
Wow.
What do y'all think about that?
I understand the reasoning, but I love to not check a bag.
I agree.
But what kind of
and I
shoes
also
are you
think it's
wearing?
different. I think it's different for men and women. Look, I think you're carrying around more.
Different.
You're carrying around more. Yeah, especially in this current climate. Everything else is basically the same.
Is rock and roll. No, I know. I like to wear multiple shoes, so I have to. Anyways,
yeah.
I'm asleep from my own thoughts.
No. This has been amazing. Catherine, thank you for doing this. And
Thanks for having me on.
where can people watch your special, by the way?
Oh, right. Everyone's acting like it's so difficult, but it's you just go, it's on a stream. Live Nation has a streaming platform called Veeps. If you go to veeps.com/Catherine Cohen, you can either buy a ticket to just watch my special, or you can subscribe and watch all their offerings. But if you want to watch just the special, you can just go to veeps.com/Catherine Cohen. It's available globally. So no matter what country, that means no matter what country you live in, you're able to watch it. And I appreciate it. And thank you for watching it. Yes, bitch. And please stream. Well, I have to say, this will be perfect timing because my album drops November 15th. So go to Spotify. There's some new songs, some old songs. And we're going to be celebrating in style on Thursday.
I can't wait. At the big party.
Yeah. Tell all your pals.
I will. But cool. You misunderstand one thing. I also have 0 friends here.
Well, I invited Nori. I invited Joe.
Oh, great.
Who else works at...
Do you know Michelle Davis?
No, but she's welcome to come.
Well, she's there. I'll invite the room.
Yeah, tell them.
They're all fun.
I feel like there was someone else that I saw you in a photo with that you've been working with. Anyways.
Should I go?
Fly here.
Fly here immediately.
No, I was making a joke about you having a conversation about the party.
Thank you, George, for joining us on our podcast.
Yeah, George,
you've been an amazing guest. Thanks for having me.
I will say you can ask Matthew, I've been walking around the house saying, can you send me that? Can you send me that?
I will say I love to write a catchy hook.
It's a catchy hook.
Thank you.
It's a catchy hook.
Thank you so much.
And you know what else is really amazing that you did is, because that's a phrase you do organically say in your life, you catch yourself and then you sing it.
Because when you want
I'm trying to think
say
what
it,
else is like that. I mean, even like a Diet Pepsi can be like, it's something you do actually say in your real life, and then it reminds you of the song.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. That's great.
You know what actually is like that for me is Tinashe has a song called All Hands on Deck. And every time I say All Hands on Deck, I have to say All Hands on Deck.
And for me, I go, when I hear All Eyes on Me, I go, All Eyes on Me at the center of a ring.
Just like a circus. Yeah.
Woo! Well, thank you so much for doing this. This has been a treat.
Ever.
Love you.
XOXO.
Bye.
Marie.
StraightioLab is a production by Will Ferrell's Big Money Players Network and iHeart Podcasts.
Created and hosted by George Civeris and Sam Taggart.
Executive produced by Will Ferrell, Han Sani, and Olivia Aguilar.
Co-produced by Bei Wang.
Edited and engineered by Adam Avalos.
Artwork by Michael Fales and Matt Grubb.
Theme music by Ben Kling.